Getting tired now though to me. In the beginning I was like, okay, it's cool, ha ha ha.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda. If this is your first time here, welcome to my beauty entertainment channel. Absolutely. So if you would like to, only if you'd like to, you can follow me on social media. Here's my Twitter and my Instagram. Go have fun and enjoy yourself on there. So today, y'all already know what's going on, but I have to explain for all the new people. Today we're doing another installment of my Everything Wrong with Blank series. Basically, I take a television show and talk about it for like an hour and a half. And people seem to like it. The title Everything Wrong With doesn't mean, because people are crazy, it doesn't mean that I didn't actively enjoy it. It's literally just a title. It's literally just a title. The first one that I did was Victorious, so clearly it's not meant to be like taken that seriously, but I digress. So in the past, I have done these on, this first one was Victorious, then I did iCarly, Glee, America's Next Top Model, Grownish, Dance Moms, Hannah Montana, and the last one that I did was Euphoria. So I'm very, very excited for this video today. This video has been a long time coming, since May. What month is it? Not May. So today we are doing an Everything Wrong with Grey's Anatomy. Super, super, super fun, right? Okay. So you already know what Grey's Anatomy is most likely, but for my professional purposes, I'm gonna start off by explaining, right? If I end up doing my makeup in this video, my absolute bad. So Grey's Anatomy is one of the most popular and most recognized shows of all time. It started in 2005. 2005, yeah, I was 5 years old. And it's now about to enter into its 17th season this coming November, yep. And they're filming the Corona season, so will I ever know peace? No, but I will definitely be watching it because I need to see how this ends. So, like in all these videos, I'm gonna do all of the characters, and then I'll talk about like this. You will understand what's happening as I start, and I'm going to start because I have no idea how long this video is going to be. So like I'm separating the characters out until you'll just follow along. Just follow along.
Would you like seconds?
Oh no, I'm great. This is great. But maybe Christina would like some. Christina, would you like some?
So first, we're starting off with a bunch of useless characters. If I forgot any useless characters because they were too useless for me to remember. First, Stark. You don't know who this man is. He was Arizona's replacement for like 15.5 seconds trying to mess with April. Creep and useless. Next, Erica fucking Hahn. I have never met a more useless, ridiculous, racist, biphobic, egotistical character on television. She doesn't bring anything except for chaos, mess, and bad teeth. She's a nuisance. Erica Hahn drives me absolutely nuts. Every time I rewatch the show and she ends up leaving, I say, wow, maybe I will know happiness. Her only her only point was to like help Callie like discover herself, so I don't care. Use her as a plot device, I don't care. I don't like Erica Hahn at all. Jealous of a resident, jealous of Christina. I know she's better than you, but you gotta act like this all the time. White women are so like that. And the racist part, go back and watch any scene with Erica Hahn and Richard Webber. Yeah, you'll see the racism there, okay? Next. I'm speeding through these because we need to get to the important characters. Next is Sadie. You guys remember Sadie, Meredith's batshit crazy friend, batshit crazy. She's in the running for the most batshit crazy person on Grey's Anatomy. Operating on yourself is all I'm gonna say. She operated on her, that's all I don't need to say anymore. Besides that, she kind of proved my point for me, right? She also, besides the fact that she was just cutting into herself with a scalpel, she was also failing. There was no studying, just vibes. Me, my freshman year, just no studying, just vibes. That's what Sadie was. They were about to like start taking, she was about to cut into people and she don't know shit. George saved her ass, but it was too late for Miss Sadie girl. She had to go. All right?
What's a duo, do you know?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god!
Now we're moving into like one-ish season wonders. Like some of them stayed on for longer than a season, I get it. But like if they weren't important enough to put into generations, this is where they went, guys. So first we're gonna start with all the Mercy West kids that came, kind of. So Frankenstein, my bad, I mean Charles, boring. Had an honorable death, so I guess that's fine. Great for him. Next, fuck Reed, All my homies hate Reed. I hate Reed. You know, I feel like she's bitter. I feel like she's rude for no reason. The crush on Alex was very, very sad. But they didn't have to kill her like garbage. They kind of like just got rid of her and said you were never important to the story at all. Oh, poor baby. I'm not wasting time on her. Next character. I'm speeding. I'm telling you guys. This is long. Next character is Eliza Minnick. Eliza Minnick was an incredibly needed and necessary character. Get your head out from under your ass. Listen, so this hospital, Graceland Memorial, whatever you want to call it, this hospital would have sunk so much faster if she wasn't there to keep it afloat for that one season. The disasters of seasons 15 and 16, by the way, I know most people haven't watched up until season 16, so I'll like say if I'm gonna spoil it, but also like you're probably not gonna watch it anyway, or you don't care. I'm telling you right now, if you haven't seen it, you don't care. It's not worth it to have it spoiled. But I'll be talking about that more in a second. So the disasters of seasons 15 and 16 would have happened sooner if Eliza Minnick wasn't there to prevent it. I think like I want you to think about if this hospital was a real hospital, how annoying it would be to actually go there, how chaotic and all over the place. Like, it didn't make any sense, and especially at this time. This is what it was like, Richard Webber versus Eliza Minnick. I don't understand, honestly, why everyone was rallying behind Richard so heartily when most of them didn't even really train under him for that long. Like, Jackson being so adamant was like, okay, you got at least half your training from Mercy West. Same thing with like Maggie. I was like, okay, that's her dad. Okay, never mind. I don't know why. That's why I was like, I don't get why you guys are so angry at April for switching sides. She don't know that man. Richard, well, April got fired like 17,000 times. She don't know Richard that well at all. So I don't know why they were upset at her for switching sides. I was like, y'all sound like haters. You don't want her to get a good job? Eliza Minnick ghosting Arizona was very, very funny. It was very random, but like they needed to get her gone. And I think she did enough. She was necessary for this hospital. She was necessary. She like woke Richard up because I'll talk about him later. I'm not sure he was self-aware of the absolute destruction he was allowing through that hospital, even when he wasn't chief. Now, next section of people are like the new interns, so like seasons 16, 15. You might not even know any of these names if you haven't been watching in a while, but I'm gonna do it for the girls who stay caught up because I want to know how shows end. I know what you're like. Schmidt, adorable king, deserves more. Helm, in love with Meredith. Are you guys gonna give her a personality trait beyond that? It's not looking likely, so it's getting really weird. Cadre, kind of weird, but I liked her. Casey, did they write him off the show? He saved the hospital anyway, so like, okay, whatever. Vic, dumb but hot. Dumb as hell, but hot. Getting high in a hospital and then not telling anyone about it and then ending up stabbing himself with a scalpel. Getting fired twice. Dumb. Dumb. Very, very dumb. Next, Bello. Her getting deported was a lot. It was a lot, and I also, in that episode particularly, did not like how they tried to make us empathize or feel for an ICE worker. Literally not happening in this household. The Grays is on like cable TV, so maybe they're trying to like, it's not working on me. So I didn't like that episode because I was like, I don't care about this ICE worker's health at this point. All right.
Now I know I read them all. I tried to stop reading, but I couldn't. And I have a photographic memory, which is how I got through Harvard Med, my photographic memory. And I read all the files and the information is now burned into my brain.
Next, we have an entire section for my favorite person in the entire world. This is called Tragic Deaths. Lexi Gray. Every time I remember Lexi Gray, I think of what we could have had. I think of what we could have had instead. What we could have had instead and how much better it would have been. Lexi's my girl, has been since the day she stepped on the scene. She's always, this is my only fault about Lexi. She's incredibly territorial. Like always was with her dad, with Meredith, with Mark. It's always strange, but Lexi has a really smart mouth and I really like that about her. The whole blonde Lexi situation was kind of mess and it looked bad, but I don't fault my girl for going through a bit of a crisis. You know, sleeping with Alex was a mistake. It was a mistake. I actually did not mind it. There's a lot more. I hated her with Jackson. Her and Alex, I was fine with. Honestly, say what you want about me. You know, you guys are gonna find out a lot about me and my thoughts on Grey's Anatomy, because they might not be what you think, actually. I don't know. So I've been live tweeting for a while, but like, I hope everyone muted that thread because it's been going on since May. Next.
What happened to your hair?
Leave him be.
We're in a different section now. So those were all characters that are like not here anymore. So now we're in the first generation adults. These are all the adults who are not on the show anymore. So, ready? So first, Preston Burke, bad man. Bad man, bad of what he did to Christina, bad because he's just a dick in general, bad because he's kind of annoying. Probably the best surgeon this hospital has ever seen. However, Christina is the only reason that he was able to become that. He was all, I think Preston Burke is a better surgeon than Derek. Again, we don't know, these are characters, but like, I'm going off of my opinions. Christina is the only reason that he was able to go on and win a Harper Avery in the first place, and he gave her no credit, typical of men, so not surprising. My issues with Preston, they're irrelevant now because it's been so long since he's been gone. The actor can go straight, 2 tickets straight to hell. That's just that on that very angry man. So that's Burke. I don't like him. I don't like him. Next character is Mark Sloan, who is my king, love him to death. Oh, so he did all this bad stuff. So what? I don't care. Love him to death. And this is my thing. Shonda's sick for what? Shonda was the one writing at this time. Shonda's really sick for what she did. She's sick for bringing him back and then killing him in cold blood in that hospital. I consider it murder. We went through all this turmoil with Lexi, basically throwing her away like garbage underneath a plane. At least they got to say goodbye to each other. It was fine. It's fine. They had them go through all of that chaos and turmoil and travesty to bring him back, to kill him. You should have killed him in the forest. They should have killed him in the forest and left me, 14-year-old me, the hell alone. That's what they should have done. Like, their name's on the hospital now, but like, they're just, Mark and Lexi are two of my favorite characters on my show, and that plane crash ruined my life. I had to go and watch Friends for 2 weeks to heal. That's what the plane crash did to me. So I had to go watch Friends. Shonda's really sick. Next character is Miss Addison Montgomery. Let me make something perfectly clear. I do not care that she cheated on Derek. In fact, I support it. I'm getting to Derek shit. Ooh, I'm getting to him in a second. So before someone comments that she's a bad person, I'm telling you that I do not care. She got poison oak on her cooter. I think she suffered enough. I think Addison Montgomery has suffered enough. Addison Montgomery is the legend to end all legends of this show. She is one of the best characters on this show. Please, Peanut Gallery. I really cannot express enough how little I care that she cheated on Derek. Like, I don't really know what you want me to do about that because it happened and nothing's changing it. She's a legend among legends. Makes sense that she got the spinoff, honestly, in my opinion, because she's the most interesting. She's more interesting than like 50 Dereks combined. So, love Addison Montgomery, my girl forever. I still have never watched Private Practice. Maybe I will now that I've watched the show like 7 times. Maybe I will. I'll think about it. All right, next character is the one, the only Derek Shepherd. So, I think Derek Shepherd's a menace to society. I think he's incredibly self-centered and egotistical, but he's a neurosurgeon. So I'm like, that's what makes you a really good surgeon. He's also he goes very reckless all the time. After that shooting, he started drag racing every other day, going to jail. After they granted them custody of Zola, he just abandoned Meredith Grey with a newborn baby to sleep in the woods with his like 5th grade school project of a house. Like, I don't know what you want. He abandoned his wife with their new baby and had Christina Yang and Meredith Grey taking care of a toddler. Had had them raising a toddler in a frat house because he wanted to be all, like, tough. So Meredith tampered with the clinical trial. I understand. I'm crying for you. Should she have done that? No. I'm not condoning that. But it didn't seem like you were very close to the cure anyway, because none of your patients were improving in the clips we saw. Or was I watching a different show? Doesn't seem like you were close at all. Now you'll never be close. Now we'll never know. But, oh well. Like he was in Meredith's first lead surgery with a stank face on. Hater. Derek Shepherd is a hater. He's a walking hater. It's his fault that Zola got taken away from them. It is his fault. He didn't need to go crying, running to his unfinished house. He could have also lied to the child service care worker. I don't mean lying, whatever. He's always in Meredith. He wants Meredith to follow him, and it makes sense with what we've known as his personality before. Like, Meredith's trying to make the decision about her own fellowship for her own career. He's trying to force her to go somewhere. Mind your business. And then Derek taking the president's job and not telling Meredith was ridiculous. We all know that. Everyone knows that. Now, Derek being, like, going to DC was fantastic. I really liked that. I really liked him being on the show. He wasn't on the show like that much less, but he was on it way less. I was really happy with that. And he just thought his job was the most important because working for the president. Who cares? Who cares? Where are your results? Oh, you have no results yet, so who cares? I don't. He's a twerp. He is a wannabe martyr. I gave up everything for you, Meredith, okay? And you did that. Now soak in it and shut the fuck up. Take care of your kid and stop complaining. You gave up a job. We get it. You keep bringing it up every 15 seconds that you want to go back, so go back. I do not like this man. I've never liked this man. He's a hater. He's a nuisance. He uses way too much hair product. And he's just rude. How he was killed for shock value, though. And I'm like, so like people were really upset at him dying. I'm telling you right now, I felt absolutely nothing when Derek Shepherd died. I was very much just like, oh wow, that's fantastic, actually. And I watched Grey's Anatomy for the first time after Derek Shepherd died, but I remember the day after the Grey's Anatomy episode aired when he died, I was in high school, I went to school the next day, and people were bawling. 7:30 in the morning, bawling. 12 hours earlier, Derek Shepherd had died and they were crying in high school hallways. It was crazy. And I felt nuts. I said, wow, maybe I should get into this show. It has you guys crying like 14 hours later. And then I watched the episode and I'm just like, eh. I really don't like Derek Shepherd. Sorry about it. That's not a surprise though, I feel like you could have guessed that by watching any of my videos ever. Next character, it's very funny that I put them right after each other, is Nathan Riggs. Boring, very unnecessary, very, like, brought nothing to the table. Was he good at his job? I don't remember. I don't think so. Maybe he was very average. He was working with Maggie Pierce, so he's average compared to her. Him and Meredith was lame. It was very lame. Most of Meredith's relationships post Derek have been very lame and very just like random. Random is the word I'm looking for. And Nathan going back with like Owen's sister, that was a lot, and I don't care about Nathan Riggs' storyline at all. So that's my opinion on him. Do I like Meredith and Derek together? No, not at all. Next character. Now we're getting into people that I actually care about. Next character is Calliope Torres. Where do I start with this? Because there are so many paths that I could take and we end at chaos. Callie Torres was one of my favorite characters on Grey's Anatomy for the longest time. And then I believe, in my opinion, they ruined her entire character in one episode. And the episode was the child custody case episode of like season 12. I'll speak on, let me just start. So as I watched the show again, because this is the first time in a while I'd watched from season 1 all the way through. I watch from seasons like 6 to 12 all the time, but season 1 all the way through this first time. Yeah, Callie, there were signs of her doing what she did in the child case study. There were signs. Callie's annoying. So Arizona and her going to Malawi, Arizona was right and nobody wants to hear it. Callie was whining in the airport. They weren't even on the plane yet, and she was already whining. Arizona was right to tell her to get the hell out, because she was whining. She had to go save kids' lives, and Callie is whining about her own priorities. She was right about that. She became very power hungry once the plane crash happened, in my opinion. This is my opinion. She pretended Arizona was dead at the gala. I was sitting there in shock. I'm not mad at her about that. I'm not mad about that though, because she had to get her money, honestly. Now, once the divorce started happening is where both of them became annoying, and that's just the way it is. But the custody battle is where Callie lost me completely. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed her character up until that episode, and I was like, damn, I have no respect for you anymore. How are you going to let your lawyer relay, because you had to like give her that information, that incredibly misogynistic message in the name of your own child like that? Using the fact that Arizona is good at her job, wants to have fun with Richard since she's single, switching around the schedule, which is so funny to me because after Arizona won, all of a sudden Callie wants to start switching schedules. I thought you hated when people switch schedules, Calliope. What happened? What happened? She did all that bullshit. She let her lawyer talk crazy about Arizona, who she did love at some point, who is a mother of her child, and she still lost. And that's what she gets. I don't actively hate Callie. I have absolutely no respect for her any longer. So when I rewatch the show, I'm just like, oh my God, I can't even like you. And now when I rewatch it this time, there were signs that she was going to start acting crazy, because she was acting crazy since the plane crash. And she still lost. She did all of this mess and lost badly. It was hilarious. I laughed when she's like, it's going to Arizona. I laughed when we saw Callie crying, because I was like, what do you want me to do? I felt bad though, because that's her son. Like, that's her daughter, and it's like, damn. You shouldn't have, like, that situation, none of that should have ever happened. Why did you assume Arizona would be fine with you moving? That is where we started going crazy. Penny is very, very new. At this point, Arizona, you're being like, I want to move away with Penny, my new girlfriend. Why would you assume Arizona, who you and your kid have been living with this entire time and in a relationship with, would just be like, yeah, that's okay, just go, take my daughter away from me? That was so bizarre. She didn't even think. It's like she didn't even remember Arizona was in the situation at all. It was very, very bizarre. And then she starts then she just does. For the rest of the season, she's just very, very angry, and I don't blame her for that, because like, she doesn't have any custody of her kid, because they both wanted to be petty. This isn't just Callie's fault. They both wanted to be petty and didn't want to agree on anything. There's no reason that Arizona and Callie should have gone to court in the first place. That should have been resolved in the lawyers' offices. There's no reason that should have been taken public. It was very, very petty, it was childish, and it was unnecessary. The entire custody case agreement, and I was on Team Arizona the entire time. Oh, next character, Arizona Robbins. I love Arizona, and y'all are going to be mad at me for that, but this isn't even, I think, my most like crazy character that Amanda would like, honestly. She was completely right when she left Callie to go on the plane. And it made sense that she came crawling back after like a couple of weeks or whatever, because they were good together at that time. So the plane crash, it was a downfall. Callie and Arizona are both such stubborn people. I don't know how they lasted that long being as stubborn and unwilling to change ever as they both are. It's so bizarre. The leg ruined it. I'm wondering if Arizona before that situation had ever really truly been like visibly angry before, because it seemed like she was letting out all her frustrations of the past, like, I don't know, 30 some odd years come out at Callie. It seems like she's never expressed anger before, like that was her first time, because she couldn't control any of her emotions. And then it's nothing but the leg for the next decade. Who did she want to cut off her leg? She was dead. She was dying. She was dying from a diseased leg. Who else was supposed to cut the leg? If anyone else had cut the leg off, would she have been happier? That's why I'm confused. Is it that Callie cut it off, or is it that the leg is off in the first place? Because if you want to be alive, the leg had to come off, period. So would you have rather had a random stranger cut off your leg? Or you did not want the best orthopedic surgeon in the hospital to cut off your leg? Not me. Not me. Give me the best person for the job. But I'm not in this story. I'm not in the story. So I know you're gonna say, okay, so Arizona cheated on Callie. I get it. I know, so that wasn't right. I'm not saying that was right. I'm not saying that. It wasn't right. I like Arizona, but she made me mad with that. It was very like, seriously, you had to, like, I was like, now I can't say I like your character without people looking at me crazy. People are gonna typing at me crazy now because he wanted to cheat on her. And then Callie knew immediately. How do you leave with someone's engagement ring pinned to your shirt? I don't know how old we are, but you're too old to be engaging in absolute, just obvious buffoonery like that. All right. And then when someone finally brought up that Arizona, the one who finally brought it up that Callie was not on the plane, I was wondering this entire time when it was gonna happen. It happened to justify her cheating, which was not where they should have ever brought that in, where Arizona should have brought that up at all. But yeah, I was surprised it took that long for them to like be like, you weren't on the plane at all. Then what did Callie do, who was stubborn and petty? She told everybody their business. Now here's my issue. How are you going to get annoyed at everyone knowing your business when you shared it? She told everybody, everyone was got said Arizona cheated on me. Now she's mad that everybody knows. Like, she was about to force Leah to tell a dead patient's husband that his wife cheated on her with her brother because of her own personal issues. Back to Arizona, so Dr. Herman was the best thing that ever happened to her after that divorce. That's like Callie turned into a mess, and then Arizona had something to throw herself into, and Callie had just nothing because nobody really likes Callie. Does Callie have friends? No. Who was Callie close to besides Arizona and then besides Penny? Who is she really close to? Because I don't think Meredith really likes her like that. I mean, Meredith was nice to her during the custody battle and stuff, but who is Callie really close to? Now, again, this is another thing where I have to say, because y'all are gonna look at me crazy for saying I like Arizona. Her telling Jackson about April's baby, she was like dead wrong for that as well. I can admit my favorite characters do better. Is she a favorite? I know she's a favorite. I actually really like her. I can admit when characters I like do very, very poor things in poor taste, guys. I'm not saying Arizona is a saint, but in the custody battle, I was very much so firmly on her side. And every time I've rewatched Grey's, this time is like my 7th, I am more so on her side the entire time. Any argument, because I'm just like, oh, I can't believe what Callie ends up doing. Yeah, I have no respect for her anymore. It's really sad, because I really liked Callie. Like, I would have put Callie in my top 5. And then the custody that he had. Like, I remember the day I watched that episode for the first time, and I was like, I lost all respect for her in like 5 minutes. In like 5 minutes. I had no idea whose side I was on in that custody battle, and I liked Callie more. That's what's crazy. I liked Callie so much more than Arizona the first time I watched this show. And then this happened, and it all went to hell. It all went to hell. Wow. All right.
And then today, it's like I'm invisible. I mean, I don't know what it means. Maybe the kiss meant nothing and we're friends. But I guess what I'm asking is, if it were you, if I kissed you. Wait, no, I'm not saying that you and I, we're not kissing, but if a guy kisses you and he asks you out and then you refuse to look at him for the rest of the day, what exactly are you thinking?
I can't help you. My marriage is collapsing and I can't do anything about it because he won't talk to me.
You get it?
No, I don't get it because I'm trapped in a bubble.
Now we're on to another section. So this is the adults that are still currently on the show. Everyone on the show is adults. So what do you mean by that, Amanda? The older ones, kind of. The ones who are not in like Meredith's class. That's what I'm talking about. First is Catherine Avery. She's nosy, she's mean, a little evil, but I like it, right? Her and Richard's mess right now is the most ridiculous shit I've ever seen in my entire life. Aren't y'all old? Aren't y'all grown? So her trying to sue April was not right at all. At all. She does some very fucked up shit often. She does some very fucked up shit really, really often, but I still don't dislike her character. I don't know why. Next character is Richard Webber. I don't like Richard Webber. Actually, now I'm pretty much indifferent towards him, but I think he's bad at his job. He and Meredith are just, it's just strange. He treats her like his daughter, then doesn't, then says that she should let her die. She should let him die in season 9 when he got electrocuted. It was very like, what do you really want here? Once the chief, always the chief. Like, we get it, Richard, you're old. We get it, you've been here for the longest time, but you're not the chief anymore. I did not like that. I'm talking about him being the chief more like at the end, at like the whole chief roulette thing that went what the fuck on. He kept the hospital reckless, even when he wasn't the chief. He wasn't the chief, but let Edwards go through. She was throwing iPads at strangers and let her operate after her boyfriend died. It was giving very reckless endangerment. That's what that was giving. All right, Richard and I have a very just like indifferent relationship. I think he's a very character. I have really not liked him at certain points, but I've never liked, like truly, like honestly, like he's not one of my favorite characters. He's a very like character to me. Next character is Miss Bailey. Love her, obviously. Tucker, her ex-husband, is a very, very angry man. I wrote this down when I was watching first couple seasons. I thought it was that important enough to put it on here, even though it's been 16 seasons. He's such an angry, angry, angry man. Oh my, he's like, ugh. Ben is so much better for her. But now he's running amok, moonlighting as a firefighter. An anesthesiologist was not enough for him. So then he wants to be a surgeon, and now he's taking a tenure as a firefighter. I know Bailey has permanent headaches. Could you imagine? Anesthesiologist, surgeon, now fighting fires. Stressed as hell. So the virus thing that happened, the infection that made her develop OCD, that was a nightmare. They villainized the hell out of her, whether they meant to or not in that situation. Like the actual like surgeons on the show, the board. They villainized her. They kept being like, we didn't mean to, and I'm like, you literally did villainized her. Because you kind of had to. But like, they placed all of the blame onto her and caused her that to happen to her. And then she had to operate on Meredith in the dead of night in the middle of a power outage. Billy's tough. Bubble Boy is one of my favorite patients of all time. I love that whole thing. Was Bailey wrong for that? No, I don't believe so at all. At all. Like, I think she should do it again. Like, I'm sorry. I think Bailey's an excellent chief. I'll talk about more in a second. So if you are not caught up to season 16, this is something that bothers me about the way they write her character. They give her random ass like traumatic things that happen to her that are not necessary to the plot, her character, or anything. They're just kind of very random and thrown in there. Like usually when Grace traumatizes a character, it's at least somewhat makes sense with the plot. Most of Bailey's really don't. She had a heart attack or kind of randomly. That was very bizarre. I thought they were about to kill off Bailey and I got really stressed. That's why I had to start watching the show again. Because they did that. I was like, y'all are not about to kill off Bailey. So I had to start watching the show again. So in season 16, they made her pregnant. Spoiler, sorry, they made her pregnant. And they had she miscarried after. And they just really moved on from that. And like, they never talked about it. I didn't like that at all. I don't really like Bailey and Payne at all because she's one of my favorite characters. But the pregnancy really bothered me because they had her get pregnant, showed all her excitement, and then had her do the miscarriage, and then just like, and for what? Like, I'm wondering what the reason was for that, because it was just, I just didn't like watching. It made me really, really, really sad. I think I cried at this episode because I was watching it at like 3 in the morning. That was really, really sad. I don't like that episode at all. I just don't like seeing Bailey in pain. Don't like, because the things that they'll have happen to her are just so they're just so they're out of the ordinary. And just like random trauma just from Miranda Bailey, just because just because. I don't like that. I don't like that. So the writer needs to fix that. Stop just giving her unnecessary trauma. Next are a bunch of characters that I don't really care about, but they're still on the show. There's a new Irish guy on the show. I don't know his name. Crazy, right? Only talks about his kids. He's Christina's gift to Meredith, and he's not even attractive. Next, Link. So I know the white woman loves Link. He doesn't give anything to me personally, because he gives me very Ken doll and not in a very good way. I have no issues with Link though. He seems super nice. I hope him and Amelia don't crash and burn like everything else that happens to Amelia. But, you know, I have no issue with Link. He has no personality. I don't really know that much about him. So maybe they'll hopefully develop his character. I don't know though. Next character, Nico, is fine as fuck. He doesn't do anything. Nico doesn't do anything. He barely even speaks. When he did speak to Schmidt though, he was rude. He was way too hard on Schmidt for the call to be coming from inside his own house. He was way too hard on that little boy for the call to be coming from his own house the whole time, breathing down Schmidt's neck. And then, oops, sorry, you can't meet my parents. Yeah, because I didn't tell them. Nico was dead wrong for that. Dead wrong for that, and everyone knows it. Next character is Tom Karasik, ugly and useless. I don't really care about his life. This is gonna sound really not mean. I just simply do not find Tom Karasik interesting enough to learn about his life. I don't. They keep bringing in elements of like his past life, and I'm like, I do not care at all. Like, they brought in like his ex-wife and like a kid who looks like his kid. I was like, I don't care. I'm really sorry. So like, he like lied for a billionaire in season 16. So he said the billionaire had a tumor when the billionaire killed somebody, so he doesn't have to take responsibility so that he can do more good. And I was like, none of that just made any sense. All I heard is you lied to protect the billionaire, and you lost me. You lost me. He's been leeching his way. I don't, leeching sounds like he's a terrible character. Onto this show since season 14, and I still don't care about his life or his story. Since season 14. It's been a while, and I still don't care about any of it. 3 seasons later, and he's still not interesting to me. Tom Karasik is not interesting to me. The storylines that he's had are also not interesting to me. Doesn't help that they give him storylines with very, very boring people as well. So what are we supposed to do now? Alright, next character is Teddy. So, Teddy was on the show and left the show, then came back. When Teddy was first on the show, didn't mind her at all. I thought she was like really nice, but the Henry plotline was so sad. So, oh my god, so sad. So, she was a very sad person, then she went away. And now Teddy is back. And ever since she came back, Teddy has been in a constant state of fear. Teddy, ever since Teddy stepped back onto the show, she has looked like she's about to cry the entire time. She never looks happy. She never even just looks fine. She always looks like she's about to burst into tears at any second. That's what Teddy looks like now, and it's sad. It's sad. Like, her storylines also now are just sad. Like, they're just like, damn, Teddy, what's going on here? What's going on here? Her backstory, her New York backstory, and her cheating. First of all, y'all don't, this Teddy is messy. Spoiler for season 16. So, she was cheating with her roommate, who was so she lived with her roommate and her roommate's girlfriend. She was cheating with the girlfriend, and they all lived together. All three of them lived together, and they were cheating behind the girlfriend back the entire time, and they fell in love, and then the girlfriend is the one who died in the Twin Towers. That entire backstory was, Teddy is messy as fuck. Like, oh my god, I hate Teddy and Owen together. I hate Teddy and Owen together. I think I hate Teddy and Owen together more than Amelia and Owen, and that's really saying something, but not as much as, I don't hate them as much as Christina and Owen together. Nothing's topping that in my book, because he's an evil, 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 evil little man. I'm getting to him in literally 1 second. Teddy and I have a very just like, I feel like she's just like a mundane character. She's always cheating on people. She ended season 16 cheating on everyone else. What's going on, Teddy? But again, I don't really care, because she was cheating on Owen, and I don't care about Owen, so I was like, but she was cheating with Tom Karasik. We're not elevating it all. We're Owen to Karasik. We haven't done any better. You just got rid of Owen. That's the reason why you feel slightly better. Nothing is actually getting better. It's just not as bad as it was before. Teddy. Oh, Teddy. Oh, Teddy's just it looked like it's kind of pathetic. Teddy's getting very pathetic. I hope they help her in season 17, because it's all getting she's doing a lot for men. Doing a lot for men, and I really want her to do better. Because if she's who we're stuck with, streets are saying they're signed till season 19, girl, you're gonna need to get us a little bit more interesting. Next character is the one, the torturous, the horrible Mr. Owen Hine. Alright. So before I get into everything he's ever done wrong, I would just like to give him literally one compliment, and it's only going to be one compliment. He's the best chief this hospital has ever seen, and y'all can literally fight me on that one. Saved this hospital, made them better doctors. Their trauma, first of all, nobody in this hospital seems to be very good at trauma, but the way they were working on trauma before he came was horrendous. Had Christina calling Mark Sloan, one of the best plastic surgeons in the country, for a rash. So yeah, they definitely needed some help on that. So I know someone's gonna bring up the plane crash when I say best chief of all time. I'm gonna tell you right now, every single person on the show who has been chief would have signed that paper too. Get your head out of your butt. They would have all chosen the cheaper plane option, because they are the chief of surgery and the board was pressuring them to do it anyway. Like, please don't be ridiculous about that. Like now he caused the plane crash. I'm not denying that, but like, he's still the best chief they've ever seen. Richard was corrupted and had serious boundary issues. Like Izzy, Elva, that happened under Richard, and Meredith was killing people left and right under Richard. Derek, please. Bailey, well, for a moment, Bailey was not chief for a whole second, and then Shonda, whenever she was chief, for a second, the writers were like ignoring all her chief duties to like give the woman a heart problem and marriage issues and miscarriages. But but Owen is the best chief here, honestly. So Owen, let's just start with Christina. Choking her, yeah. Where's the mandatory counseling? I don't know if that would have prevented it, but it would have helped. Christina also had issues from Owen, unresolved. No issues ever resolved on Grey's Anatomy. Not in Grey's Salon Memorial. Nobody gets therapy. We all just keep wielding scalpels. Like, what? Okay. Then with Christina, okay, so it's not a hard concept to understand that she just want a kid. I really do. He understands that he just doesn't care. He just doesn't care. Owen lives for himself and nobody else, and I'm wondering why he became a doctor. If that's how you live your life, why did you become a doctor? Why did you become a physician? Why did you become a trauma surgeon? Like, he also, so that's Christina. He ruined Christina like 10,000 times. First, how to get her back into surgery before she was ready. Then the Teddy shit, then he cheated on her. Like, are you kidding me? Owen wants a kid, Christina doesn't. Why are you trying to change that? Yet again, when a random little kid comes under the hospital under terrible circumstances. Under terrible circumstances. You're gonna keep bringing that up when trying to guilt her with this kid who came into the hospital under terrible circumstances? You're trying to make Christina feel bad for not wanting a kid by guilting her into it? You're so sad. Oh, and then he starts dating Emma, the like girl from the other hospital, and then breaks up with her because he wants kids. So, okay. So then Owen and Amelia happen. I'll talk about that more when I talk about Amelia in like 1 second. Literal doomsday from day one, because they both are walking sticks of dynamite. Like, that's what they both are. And together, they added the flame. It was ridiculous. And oh, now we're at Owen and Teddy. I need to finish immediately with the season 16 finale. Seems like it's over and done now. One can only pray and hope. But that means he's free to destroy another woman. So it's time to kill him off. I think Street's saying he has a contract too till season 19. Maybe we gotta rip it up. Maybe it's time to rip it up. Because if he's done with Teddy, that means who is his next person to ruin? Who is his next person to destroy from the inside out because he's bored and wants a kid? You have one. Shut up. I do not like Owen Hunt. At all. He hates women. Owen Hunt hates women. Hates women. He hates all women. Next character is Amelia Shepherd. So Amelia, so Derek treated her like his lackey for like half a season because he was bitter and wanted his job back. Amelia is very, very annoying. Amelia is very, very reckless. She's definitely Derek's sister. There was no other father. There was no mix at the hospital. It makes perfect sense that Amelia is Derek's sister, all right? There were signs of the brain tumor. There are many signs of the brain tumor. First, her doing Dr. Herman surgery. Love Dr. Herman. Love that woman so, so, so much. One of my favorite doctors ever. She is that girl, but her doing that surgery was a sign of the tumor. She got very lucky. In Amelia versus Meredith, I was team Meredith, and I don't like Meredith Grey, so that was really, really interesting. I find Amelia much, much more aggravating than Meredith Grey. That's why I was on Meredith's side, because I was like, Amelia, I'm sorry. Could you imagine being around someone like Amelia season like 10? Boo. And at this point, when her and Meredith were in an argument, Meredith was on a redemption arc in my book, so I was much more like tuned to liking her. Amelia's kind of a mess, kind of a walking disaster. Here's my thing with her and her tumor and how they have like discussed the tumor in like the current seasons. I do not appreciate this at all. I do not appreciate how somehow they have twisted the narrative into making it seem like Amelia's tumor absolves Owen's responsibility. He was a dick. They think like the way that they talk about it now, it's like erasing that Owen had a hand in everything that happened once they discovered her tumor. Like they kind of let him off the hook for ruining her, like he does to any woman he encounters, because Owen Hunt hates women. They kind of let him off the hook with that by blaming her tumor, and I don't like that. Like Owen has never taken responsibility for what he did to Amelia ever. He just is like, oh, you just had a brain tumor. That's just the excuse that everyone on the show uses now, and I don't like that at all. I don't like Amelia, but you were very much consciously being a dick, constantly trying to tell her what to do with herself and her body. A tumor didn't do that. The tumor didn't make you do that. And they kept being like, Amelia, you were so evil to him because the tumor, she really wasn't. She was very much the same as she was, but the tumor was there the whole time. You've known Amelia. She really wasn't that rude to him at all. Every time they bring up the tumor, they're like, Amelia, you were so mean to Owen. No wonder he left. I think we watch different shows. And now that I watched like season 15 and 16, I'm like, did anyone who writes this show currently, did they watch the past 13 seasons? Because I don't think so. I don't think so, because they're rewriting history with Amelia's tumor, and I do not appreciate it. Next character, anytime her and Owen ever speak, it's childish. Y'all are 40 years old. Every time they argue, it's some petulant, very, very toddler-esque argument. Y'all are grown adults, 40 years old, or pushing. I'm not really sure how old they are. Next character in this like section is Maggie Pierce. I have no issue with Maggie. She's really nosy for like the first season, and actually she's just nosy this whole time. Yes, you get it, you went to like high school super young and you're like super smart, but you're grown now. You're no longer in high school. You're grown now. The bullies are gone. I personally liked liked Maggie best with DeLuca, but simply as, why did they try to turn that into an actual relationship? I have no idea why they tried to do that. Turn it into an actual relationship was very, very stupid. Should have just been a fling. Maggie is incredibly nosy. It's very strange. I don't care because she moves the plot forward, so I'm fine with all that, but she's very, very nosy whenever they tell her that, and she's like, oh, no, I'm not. Yes, you are. All right. Her mother having cancer was giving me Maggie doesn't have enough trauma. Let's make her unhappy. That's what that plot line was. It was very like, let's just squash all her joy into nothing is what that gave me. And I was not happy with that at all. At all. So that's like the second section.
You taught me how. You taught me how to take my past and find my path.
And now we're moving on to the it's like Joe's class. I don't know what this class, it's like the second generation or something. Like this generation. You'll get what I'm talking about. First character is Penny. I love Penny. Oh, I like Penny. I think she's interesting. I think she's funny. I think she's pretty good at her job, and I think she really held her own even though everyone was constantly throwing shit at her. All the Penny slander was only just like the only people who I don't care that they were sending was Meredith and Amelia. Even Amelia dragged it for a bit too long, but I'm not gonna tell Amelia Shepherd how to grieve her brother dying. Penny got picked on, bullied and shit, and still got that grant, and that's why I love her. Submitted her application the day before and still got the grant. Bling bling, bitches are mad. Bitches, and I mean Joe and Stephanie were mad. Meredith actually taught her very well. When I saw that it was like Meredith gonna be taking her under her wing, I said, oh God, it's about to get so much worse, but it didn't. Meredith taught her pretty well. She held her own, and she won in the end. She got the whole grant. She got Callie to move to New York with her. Like, she won in the end. In my personal opinion, she should have dumped Callie. That's my personal opinion. The second she blamed her for the trial, it's the second Callie's hard to put the blame on her losing her custody battle on her brand new girlfriend. It should have done there, because that was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. I like Penny. I don't remember her last name, but I think she's cool. And I think everyone else were just haters, except for Meredith and Amelia. Those two, that was justified. Everyone else was just being kind of a hater. Next character is Shane. He's annoying as fuck. It's also really, really funny how he was fully into neuro and then followed Christina to like Switzerland or wherever she is. Whatever. The reason why I don't like Shane is because he got Brooks killed. And yes, he feels terrible, but he did nothing to redeem himself post that. I have forgiven characters for worse, but he didn't show me anything to improve himself. He got Brooks killed and I don't like him. That's why I don't like him. He did nothing to redeem himself. Most characters do terrible things and then they'll redeem themselves. Like in all my other videos, I like characters who've done absolutely awful. Spinner is one of my favorite characters on Degrassi. Like seriously. Seriously. But he did nothing. He did nothing to redeem himself. And then he got all cardio happy and turned into a manslaughter little bit. He is so annoying. He is so annoying. And then he kept killing patients. He almost killed Alex's dad because he wanted to be special, drinking Red Bull, manipulating hours on the iPad All because of Brooks. Because he killed her. Because he killed her. And I understand that he like is sad and he feels terrible, but you killed her. You killed her. And you're not funny. You're not interesting. You look like a Muppet. It's not giving what it's supposed to be giving. He is hot though. It's not giving what you're supposed to be giving. No, it's not enough for me to forget what you did. Basically, Shane has not done enough or doesn't give me enough to forgive what he did. And then Alex whooped that ass. Like, oh my God, like nose gushing. One hit. He deserved that. He did. He did. He almost killed his dad. He deserved that. Very much so. Next character, Heather. Love her. Love her. This is Brooks, Heather Brooks. Very sick and shady of the writers to kill her and then keep Leah. Not just that they killed her, but they chose to kill her instead of Leah. That's what I'm actually very angry about. It's degrading, to say the least. Was going to be the neuro prodigy. Let's discuss why no one's ever allowed to be a neuro prodigy. No one's ever allowed to show Derek up at his own game. It had to be his crazy ass sister. That's the only person who can show Derek Shepherd up at his own game. Y'all, Meredith is general now, all of a sudden. No Lexi, you killed her. It can't be Heather. And then it couldn't be Stephanie. Boo! Why won't you let me enjoy myself? Like, there were so many interns in this class that could have died, especially Leah, but they killed Heather instead and kept her. Now we're here. Next character is Leah Murphy is her last name. I don't like her. She's in everybody's business. She's in Stephanie's business. She sounded mad that Stephanie got Jackson instead of her, but whatever. She's in a Jehovah's Witnesses business. She's in everybody's damn business trying to give this man blood. Like they didn't put they showed her the cameras that day and she was trying to cheat the system. It was giving very white woman. It was giving very I've never had consequences for my actions. That's what Leah Murphy gave in that whole situation, because how did you think you weren't gonna get caught, Leah? Like, this is the thing, she reeled it in and I liked her when she defended Stephanie and came at Jackson's behind, because everyone seemed to very much move on from what Jackson did to Stephanie rather quickly. It's very interesting what traumas on the show people move on from incredibly quickly. That is so funny to me. Now, Lee getting fired didn't really make any sense to me, honestly. Like, she's not that bad. She wasn't that bad at surgery. I mean, she didn't not sleep and almost kill a guy. She didn't do what Shane did, and he didn't get fired. And like, bringing her back for shock value to like scare Arizona and then having her leave again was very pointless. Like, it was giving very like, okay, we get it now. You didn't need to bring her back for all that. They didn't need to bring her back for all that. They could have had Arizona make some discovery without bringing her back. Leah survived and Heather Brooks didn't. It's really sick. It's really sick in the head. But if Heather was still here, what would she be doing? Because I feel like she would not like Amelia, and I feel like Amelia would really not like her. Next character is Stephanie. HBIC, love her to death. Nothing's wrong with her. Nothing's wrong with her. While I'm here, why did I have to wait until season 9 to see a young black doctor? Why did I have to wait until season 9 to see a young black woman doctor? What's going on with that? I had to wait until season 9 to see a dark-skinned woman on your show. And while I'm here, why do all the black girls, the black women that are currently on your show, why do they all look the same? Why do they all look the same? And why can they all pass paper bag test? Just while I'm here, thought I could get that out. Stephanie is better than me because when Joe, I'm getting to Joe in 1 second, when Joe publicly embarrassed her, Stephanie's better than me because she let her get off pretty easy. Honestly, like, she let her get off pretty easy because she could have been rude. She could have also embarrassed Joe publicly. She should have, in my personal honest opinion. She should have. Now, her and Kyle, this is very sick. Her breaking up with him already has me mad, and then you bring him back and he dies. Unnecessary. Necessary. Unnecessary. Stephanie's my girl. Probably the only one that I find like actually very, very interesting. Next character is Ben Warren. I like him. I like him. He cut someone open with a clipboard. He cut someone open with a clipboard. He's incredibly reckless is what I'm trying to say. He cut someone open with a clipboard. He cut a human being open with a clipboard in the middle of a hallway. No, that was in a patient room on the psych floor with no tools around him to help if anything went wrong. Ben is incredibly reckless. And then he started trying to prove some shit because Bailey became cheap. Very insecure man. Get over yourself. He's kind of gotten over himself now. But what, like, firefighter? Really? The anesthesiologist wasn't enough for you. I get that. I get that. Surgery wasn't enough for you. I get that. I get that. Firefighter. You're gonna cause this woman even more stress. She already had a heart issue. And while I'm here, abolish Station 19 crossovers. Nobody's watching that show. I'm sorry. I'm not meaning to jump on you if you watch that show. I'm not insulting you in any way. I'm just saying I'm not watching it. So I need them to stop doing crossovers and trying to force me to watch it. Because I'm still not going to. Like, I'm still not going to. They keep bringing in these characters. I don't know who they are. I don't know their names. I don't know their backstory. So they keep bringing them in to interest me. They're not interesting. The show doesn't look interesting. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. So it's time to let it go. And I wonder if they actually work. If the Station 19 crossovers actually get anybody to watch that show, because it's not looking likely. Because also people have stopped watching Grey's Anatomy. So maybe we have some issues to fix, all right? Next character is DeLuca. Where are the men in the world? Where are the men in the world? Right here. Him and Maggie should have been a fling. I already said that. Why made it into a relationship was very random and unnecessary. Him being in love with Joe after the Alex situation was also very random. I'm thinking nobody had any idea what to do with his character. They were kind of just throwing him around and being like, just bouncing him from person to person, place to place, so everyone would get used to him and like him, so that when he started dating Meredith, everyone was like, oh, okay. I feel like they were just kind of just like, do whatever you want. We're gonna give you a couple seasons to do whatever you want, and then we're gonna have you get together with Meredith Grey. Everyone will know who you are because you've been doing your thing for a while, and then you're gonna get together with Meredith Grey. I actually like him with Meredith Grey a lot. I do. Wow, guys, I do. But my thing is, we don't really know who DeLuca is. Do you see how in this description of him, I was talking about all his relationships? That's kind of all we've seen DeLuca do. Now, with season 16 just ending, not anymore. But we've kind of just been watching him do a lot of things for other people, and we don't know anything about Andrew DeLuca himself. Now, spoiler season 16, well, we know now he's displaying the same symptoms that his dad did at the same age, when I think his dad has bipolar, but he's displaying the same like symptoms that his dad did at the same age. And that's what we know about him. That's what they're giving us to him. That's the information they're only giving us. He's made some really good catches this season, like with catching like rare diseases, but it's still like, where are we going from here? Because they just ended the season with him like suffering a breakdown. So I'm wondering if we're going to get to know who DeLuca is, if we're going to get to know him beyond just him being hot and in relationship with the people that we've known on the show for the past couple of seasons. I'm wondering if we're gonna get any more. I hope so, because maybe he could be interesting. He's more interesting to me than Tom Karasik, so give him more screen time, all right? Next, last character in this little cohort is Josephine Wilson. So, I think Joe is incredibly annoying. All right, so Joe, I'm talking about Joe pre-season 16 in all of this, all right? Right now, I'm indifferent towards Joe, but before I found her one of the most aggravating and annoying characters on the show. I don't like her. She's a snitch for starters. She has snitch tendencies. I don't understand where they're coming from. In the first 10 episodes of her being on the show, she blew the appy, which I won't hold her on, but Alex let her take out adhesions, which is a super nice thing, and then she goes and narcs to Arizona, like what the hell, because she thought she was gonna get fired. Where did that idea come into your head? You're telling your own, doesn't make any sense. There was no indication that you were about to get fired, Joe. Her and Stephanie, it's giving anti-blackness, guys. I'm sorry. It's giving racist. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. She assumed that Stephanie fired the HR complaint, which was valid. But her saying, you made my relationship illegal. She made it all about herself. Also, she didn't make your relationship illegal. You could very much just like tell people that you're dating Alex Karev. But she assumed Stephanie filed the complaint. Stephanie, even though she didn't, Stephanie would have been justified to file that complaint. Does anyone else remember what Jackson Avery did to her? Like, I feel like I'm the only person who remembers that. If she had filed that complaint, she would have been completely justified to file that complaint. All right. Then she was like, this is gonna break me and Alex up, and it's like, why don't you have a stronger relationship? If this rule is gonna break you guys up, I can't help you there. Like, imagine, and the way they like did the fake breakup thing, if Stephanie had yelled at Jackson like that in the middle of the hospital lobby, she would have been suspended. That's just that. That's not even, we're not even to the worst part yet. And the full throttle, assuming Stephanie lied about having, like, being sick as a kid. Joe's really sick. I'm sorry. Stephanie had been telling teensy weensy white lies that doing things for the chief. She was not lying about her personal health history. So her being like, Stephanie's been lying all day as an indication why she'd be lying about this is unfounded, completely unfounded. Stephanie was telling itty bitty classic workplace lies. In what world, except in a white woman's world, would that snowball telling lies about your personal health history? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Why? It was so easy for her to assume she's a horrible person. I'm calling racist. I'm calling racist. Oh man, it's calling racist. I'm calling racist. And then Amelia's aggravating ass immediately believing Joe, who is the dud resident of her class, Joe is the dud resident, believing her over Edwards, who she has been working for the past 3 years, believing Joe over the neuro prodigy. Why so easy to do so, Amelia? Oh. That's just the way it is. And then it was funny when Amelia like went up to Stephanie and was like, do you think I believed her because I'm racist? That's basically what she didn't say that, but that's what she was insinuating. And Stephanie was like, just calm down. Stephanie was like, shh, stop talking to me. Yes, Amelia, you were being racist. That's just the way it is. Like, I don't like. Stephanie is better at surgery than Joe. She is 10 times the surgeon you will be, and you got lucky that she left. Joe's not talented. At least at this point she wasn't. Now it's different. Stephanie is not a good surgeon because she's sick. If it took, like, that's not why she's a good surgeon. She tried to do that whole thing, like, seriously. Joe, you are a dud surgeon. At that point, Joe was the dud resident. Her statement wasn't even correct. Why did she get so mad when Stephanie read her ass for Phyllis? Because you already feel inferior. You feel hit by all the words that Stephanie's saying because you are not as good of a surgeon as her. Simply look at the literal evidence. Why don't the attendings request you, Joe? Every other resident has a favorite attending. Why don't you have one, Joe? Why don't the attendings request you? Not even your boyfriend requests you. So no, I don't like Joe. Now we'll get to current Joe. Current Joe did not deserve Alex's departure. I'm getting to that in a second. She did not deserve that at all. Joe does not deserve any of the bad things that have happened in her life since she's been on the show at all. I'm not saying that. I just don't like her character. Now she's like a hotshot doctor, so like that's great at all. I think it was this is me personally, I think it was a bad choice for her to not make her an ortho prodigy, because in my opinion, bringing in 2 new ortho doctors changed the dynamic too quickly. I wish they would have kept it more gradual, but since they had gotten rid of 2 of the most interesting characters on the show, April and Arizona, they had to start bringing in new people. They said, we need to casting call. Because everyone interesting started leaving. You lose Cali, and you lose Arizona and April. Like, I think they should have stuck with Joe being like an ortho genius, because it would have been more interesting instead of making her like Mayor of the Shadow. I don't like that. I'm not sure how they're gonna do it now because Alex isn't there anymore. What they're going to, if they're going to make her and Meredith closer, if they're going to get further apart, I'm not really sure. But they did this a lot. They never gave us a neuro prodigy. They never gave us a ortho prodigy from the cast that we had already known. And I'm like, seriously? Like, y'all killed Lexi, Brooks. We couldn't have Stephanie. So like, we have to shove Shepherds down our throats. And then ortho, we've only like, Callie was the only one? Seriously? Now we have 2 new people? I don't like that. I wish they would have kept her in ortho. Maybe she would have been more interesting as a character, honestly. Because her just becoming a general surgeon was very random. It was very like, oh, I don't know what I want to do. So I'm just gonna stick general. It was very, I didn't like that at all. Not for me.
This is a hospital, people. Serious work happens here. We save lives here. Oh, something funny? Whose are these? This is bad. This isn't good. You better claim them. She thinks they're mine. Claim them. No. Yeah, I know it's one of you. It's always one of mine. Always. So, tell me, which one of you left your damn drawers on my surgical floor?
Next, we're into the last cohort. So this is like Meredith's class. So everyone who was in Meredith's class at some point. First character talking about is Mr. George O'Malley. Love him to death. I have nothing negative to say about George O'Malley. Maybe he's done some bad stuff. I don't care. I love George O'Malley. Him and Callie were doomed from the start. Why did you guys get married? They got married because he thought she was hot and she liked the attention. It wasn't substantial. It was a relationship. I just don't know why you guys would get married. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Him and Izzy was even worse. That was even worse. Like, that's one of the worst things that ever happened on this show. Him and Izzy and him and Meredith. Worst things to ever happen on the show. Don't make a lick of sense and made me want to vomit. But I like George. He's adorable and cute, and he died a very honorable death. I was ruined by 007, very much so. I had to take a break from Grey's at that point too. Grey's makes you take a lot of breaks when you're first watching it. Very, very sad death. And that's all I have to say. He died. This show has been going on for so long since he has died. It's kind of crazy. Next character is Miss Izzy. Here is my thing. Is Izzy one of my favorite characters? No. Do I hate Izzy? No. I think people do too much on Izzy. Actually, I think people do a little too much on Izzy. She's very annoying. I don't like her. But I do think you guys do a little too much on the things that she's done. But I think like being like Izzy's the worst Grey's Anatomy character, I think is a stretch. There are so many worse characters on this show than Izzy Stevens. Like I think that's doing too much. I'm sorry. I don't like her either, but I think that's doing too much. So Izzy, the tumor was obvious. Woo, child, the tumor was obvious. She was seeing Denny for half a season and she was begging Alex to love her. Her sleeping with George, in my opinion, was a sign of the tumor. That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. Her like in love with George. Not at all. Izzy, this is why I don't like Izzy personally. This is back, you know, I used to really like Callie. And this isn't even about me liking Callie, it's me clocking white woman's bullshit. She was always saying some slick, coded, teetering on racist bullshit towards Callie. It was always unnecessary, unwarranted, because Callie never ever brought the same energy towards her, even though Izzy was incredibly rude and hostile to Callie literally all the time. When she thought Callie was going to physically fight her in the middle of the hospital's cafeteria. And there's nothing here. There's nothing here. There's nothing here. Like, George and Izzy caused half a season of mess for bad sex. Was it worth it, dummy? Was it worth it? Was it worth it? It wasn't. It wasn't. And then we can just talk about Denny Duquette for a second. We can just step back. My description of her entire character could have been El Bad Wire. That could have been all I know. That could have been all I know. I don't really need to say anymore. She's lucky that she's white and hot, because that was absurd. She's lucky that she's white and beautiful, because that was absurd and should have never happened. Richard Webber has no backbone. Giving very spineless. Alright, next character is Miss Christina Yang. That bitch. You already know what the fuck's going on. Yeah, I love her to death. I don't want Christina back on the show at all. I don't want Christina back on the show. I don't want Sandra Oh is doing bigger and better things. I know. I think Christina leaving the way that she did, she left before the show got bad. Thank God. They didn't damage her character. They didn't make her, they inflicted seasons of pain onto her, but you know, I digress. Listen. When she freaked out in season 7, when she had to go fishing with Derek to like help her behead her, I think it was supposed to be to like humanize her, but how, like the way that she's like described and made out to be like super cold, or the way that she's described still to this day, so like it's not necessarily true. Like Christina's a good doctor. Christina's the best doctor out of all of them, in my personal opinion. Like, I think Christina was treated like poop feces by these writers. It's disturbing. Like, first you do Burke's existence, and then like you have Captain Colonel Crunch does it again to her. Like, can't Christina breathe? Like ever? No. The Harper Avery loss was racist. That's what it was the whole like it was the Harper Avery Foundation. Who cares? It was racist and corrupt, in my opinion. That whole situation was ridiculous. I love Christina Yang. Christina does not need to come back to the show. Y'all need to give that up. Y'all should have given that up at least 4 or 5 seasons ago, but especially now. Don't bring Christina back onto the show. I don't want to see it. I don't. How the show has gone now, entering season 17, I don't even want Sandra Oh to step onto the stage. I don't. She's too high up here. I don't want her coming back. No, her character left, had a good plot. She's still in the show. Like, Meredith texts her all the time, and she just read it. Like, Christina sent a letter for her to read when Meredith was about to go to jail and get her license taken away. Yeah, that's where Grace is at right now. But yeah, Christina Yang is my favorite character. My favorite character. Is she my favorite character? Yes. One of. Next character. Y'all are about to get mad at me. Next character is April Kepner. This is my girl. Whoa. Oh. Whoa. This is my girl. No one ever thought she'd even be chief resident. And look at her now. Okay, so April's annoying. What else? What else do you have for me? What else do you have for me? April's annoying. We're all annoying. We are all annoying. Everyone on the show is annoying. You're annoying. I'm annoying. We're all annoying. What else do you have for me? Because her and Michael deserve each other. His name is Michael, right? Paramedic. They are so cute together. The only man on the show as corny as she is. They belong together. I love her and Arizona's friendship. I love her and Arizona's friendship. That they needed each other. It was so nice. And that's why I'm also happy they left at the same time, because yeah. Now, her taking Meredith's job in season 13 when she was on suspension was rude. I get it, but I also believe that April suffered enough on the show. I believe April Kepner has suffered enough, and you guys need to leave her the hell alone. Sorry about it. I think I'm so happy she was able to leave alive and with honor, but they really tried to kill her. They tried to kill her in her final episode. They literally, when she went through all of this, the trauma, the torture, failing the boards, fired Jackson Avery, they did all of that, her baby dying. She's been through more of enough, and they try to kill her in her final episode. Like, y'all, they play reckless with April's life continually on the show. Reckless. And in that scene, I had to watch like Alex Karev, who doesn't like her, talking praises about her while operating over her. I didn't like that scene at all. I didn't like that. I felt it was disrespectful. I had to watch Jackson Avery cry he looks like he's taking a massive shit when he cries, so I don't like watching that. It was very annoying. Like in her finale episode, let the girl rest in fucking peace. All right, let her leave in peace, please. April is a mess and she's annoying, and I rooted for her the entire time on the show. Yeah. The second she stepped on, I was like, oh, you're very, very perky. And as we got to know her, I was like, I kind of like you. You're really interesting. And then I kept rooting for her the entire time. I rooted for her and Jackson to break the fuck up from day one. I'm about to get to him in 1 second. Let's just start. Next character is Jackson Avery. Him and April were doomsday from day one. Here's my thing. I actually liked them together. However, they were never going to go anywhere. It started from the boards. It started from the boards. April equated her having sex with Jackson to a car crash. All right, that's just not good. Jackson is in his feelings and is in love with her, and April didn't know. So no communication. Then the pregnancy scare, when they were going to get married, and then April said, like, thank God I'm not pregnant. Yeah, it's not looking good for these two. April blames him for the virginity thing, has never stopped not blaming him, but like for a period of time she blamed him for the virginity thing. So I knew this relationship was going to absolute hell. The relationship was dead on arrival. Like Jackson was angry because I'm going to the later stuff now. Jackson was angry because April left him to go to Jordan because he needed her, but he doesn't understand or recognize her problems. That's been the issue in the entire marriage. It's very bizarre that they got married. Like, oh my God, if they had just been in like a 3-month relationship, we would have saved a lot of time. Like, he doesn't empathize with her at all, and he only sees things through his own way. That's why none of his relationships have ever worked out, because he's a dick. A rich, entitled dick. That's what Jackson Avery is. Like, yeah, he ran into a burning bus to save the kid, but like, he's not a good person. Jackson Avery's not a good person. Yeah, he's hot. He's not a good person, guys. Like, so him and Stephanie, I'm gonna bring this up because no one else will. No one else does on the show. He forgot he had a girlfriend more times than I can count. He forgot he was dating Stephanie more times than I can count, and she didn't deserve any of this. I didn't put this in her section because she doesn't deserve any of this. This man is evil. He was lying through his teeth over and over again because Stephanie continued to ask him because she had suspicions that he was not over April yet, and he denied, and look what ended up happening. Oh, she was right. But she had to be publicly humiliated to be shown that she was right. Sick and twisted. They told each other that they loved each other hours before that wedding, and then what happens? I need you guys to seriously put yourself in this situation. You're at a wedding with your boyfriend and he leaves with the bride. You're at a wedding with your boyfriend and he leaves with the bride. And then, like, you couldn't not do that at the wedding. Couldn't have done it the day before. Couldn't have done it the morning of. You had to do it in front of everybody, like, seriously. And then they did all humongous chaos. Pregnancies going away, getting married in the wilderness, wearing a dirty dress, all to get divorced. I really, like, if you think about like the history of Jackson and April's relationship, all this nonsense just to get divorced. And why was it doomsday from the start? They disagree on fundamental levels. They disagree on fundamental levels. That's why I don't understand why the thought was to get married. I don't. So when Catherine was like, did you think this through? I said no. Catherine was correct. No one thought anything through. How is Catherine the one who had to bring up, you guys disagree very heavily on like a lot of fundamental core beliefs. Have you thought about that? Catherine had to bring that up. Jackson doesn't go to church and April is a born-again Christian. Guys, I'm I'm sorry. What was this supposed to work? It was doomsday from the first, in one of their first arguments that Jackson and April ever have, he literally called her beliefs stupid. Where was this supposed to go? Like, how is Catherine the only person who brought up the fact, hey, your wife is pro-life and you're not? Have you guys thought this through, and then they end up having to think it through because their baby actually has serious issues? Like, bizarre, doomsday from day one. Fast forward to the present, Jackson is an idiot for entering his own contest, that medical innovation contest. He's just so dumb. Even if they had not, like, if it had not all come out, regardless, it would have looked bad if Jackson had entered his own contest. Like that, he's not bright. Like, he's not bright, and he doesn't like to listen to anyone else except for himself. That's why not a single one of his relationship has ever worked out. April, Maggie, who knows? Boo! I cannot believe they put Maggie and Jackson together. That was really, I hated that. First of all, borderline siblings, didn't like that. I did not like that at all. Secondly, they just weren't good. They're not interesting together. They're very cringeworthy. They have little to no chemistry, and it feels like you just put the two black people on the show together, and I don't like that. I don't, because would it make sense that Jackson would date Maggie? No. And then he dates someone who's Maggie's lookalike right after. The firefighter? Really, guys? Really? Jackson is not smart. You're very beautiful, but you're not smart. Him and Maggie made no, like, seriously, I felt insulted, honestly, by him and Maggie, because I was like, this would never happen. This would never happen. All right, moving on. Next character is the one, the only Mr. Alex Karev, one of my favorites, honestly. And let's look at the way he was treated. All right, we're starting with Rebecca. I'm sorry, girl. What? You guys remember Rebecca? P. Her. There are a lot of Grey's plot lines that I really don't like, but this was one of the worst. The Jane Doe Alex plot line. I'm aware Rebecca's life was ruined, and I understand, but I also don't understand why the psych department wasn't involved from day one. They seem to like ignore that department even though they're right upstairs. And yes, Alex was like, he like allowed this all to happen, and he continued to act a little bit like a dumbass throughout the whole situation, but he has a desire to help everybody. Leave him alone. That's why he's so good at peas. But this plot line was really, really nauseating. And then her peeing on their couch, like, bad. Then we'll move on to Izzy. Izzy kind of leaving him with $1 gajillion of medical bills, and then like she just came back all sunshine and happy. Like, I know she was fired and that was traumatic, but like, seriously. And then he did, remember Morgan, the pregnant intern who like they like became close? Alex does this so often, and then like then he's always an ass. He's always ends up being an ass. He's nice, he's like, wow, I really connected with this person, and before they get too close, he does something ass-worthy. Because he's an ass. It took like 17 tries for him to maybe not stop being an ass. And now we're at Joe. Listen, Alex is permanently about that action. Alex is always about that action. Do I condone him beating up Chess Peckwell? No, but I absolutely support it. And you can figure out what that means on your own time. Because Chess Peckwell is scum. I don't know what is his real name. Jason something. Scum on the earth. He's a menace to society. He deserved everything Joe handed to him. But Karev was about to fuck him up again. He's not with it. He's not. He doesn't talk. There's no back talk. There's no back talk. No, none of that, Alex Karev. Like, he was going to kill him, and if Joe didn't whoop his ass into outer space first, like, he was going to. Now, DeLuca. Sorry guys, I don't know how you can be Team Alex in the DeLuca situation. I don't, because he was dead wrong. I like Alex too, but so he reacted out of pure emotion. I get that, but he literally almost killed that boy. Like he could have killed DeLuca, and if he didn't kill DeLuca, he could have ended his entire surgical career. DeLuca was right to take him to court. It was actually one of the first times any doctor in that hospital had received any sort of consequences for acting batshit crazy. He could have died. They didn't have to do that perp walk through the entire hospital like that. They took the long way. They went through every wing, went through every lobby, and then went through the ER. It was so dramatic. They could have just gone out a side door. It was unnecessary, but like, I don't know how are you guys Team Alex? I like Alex too, but I'm trying to understand why you guys are like, he beat him up. And I get he did it because he thought he was hurting Joe, but he still has to answer for beating him up. Like, it's like, is DeLuca supposed to be like, oh, you didn't mean to, okay, guess my like eyesight, will that make my eyesight come back? Like, no, like it was ridiculous, guys. Like Alex, and then DeLuca had to like, be like, I lied. And so Alex faced no consequences. I was so upset because at that point I was like, Alex isn't like that anymore. At that point I was like, wow, we finally, like, Alex has like, we've gone through the development, we've gone through this, we've pushed, we've made it finally. Nope, never for me, could never be happy ever in my life. Nope. Then I like him and Joe together. I actually do. So Alex became chief and then spends the quarter's budget in one day, but turns it around. You know, Alex turns it around always. He's a great person, right? Right? So then what happens? The writers demolish everything I have worked so hard for, cried over, thought about. They demolished it all in one episode. They ruined it all. They ruined 15 and a half seasons. No, 16 and a half seasons. No, 15 seasons and a half a season of character development. They ruined it in one episode. Oh, if you don't know what happened, season 16, so Alex ends up leaving Joe randomly. He hasn't been on the show for like a couple episodes. He was in Iowa with his family, but he wasn't. He was with Izzy. He left Joe to go live with Izzy and their 2 kids because she did use the embryos that they had made like back in the day to have 2 kids. They should have killed him. If your options were kill Alex Karev or have Alex Karev go back to Izzy, I would have chosen death. I would have taken death over one of my favorite characters of all time rather than that absolute travesty that I witnessed in that episode. I would have taken the death. I would have taken an honorable death. It was so strange. It made no sense with all the development that his character has gone through for him to go back to Izzy. I cannot express to you how, that's why I don't believe people who are currently writing for the show have ever seen Grey's Anatomy, because that doesn't make any sense. Izzy's name has not even been brought up in seasons. It has not been brought, her name has not been uttered in seasons. He was dead happy with Joe. He was so happy. They just made up for the 100th time or whatever. Joe was playing mom with a baby 3 episodes ago, and it all goes to hell. It was random, it was rushed, and for such a good character. What was the point? What was the point in the past 15 seasons if it was all for shit? What was the point? This is the thing. In this episode, they like, The holes that you are thinking, if you haven't seen it, the holes that you're thinking of, they fill in this episode. They're like when, because Meredith almost gets her license taken away in season 16. So like they say that Alex was calling all of her old patients and old friends to write letters to her so they wouldn't take away her license. And he wrote one to Izzy, and that's when they started talking again. I don't buy it. I don't buy it, but they filled in a lot of the plot holes. They made it make sense, but there was still something missing. The foundation was not there because this decision does not make sense for Alex's character. They made it flow. The episode flowed as a very good nostalgia bait episode. It was a really good nostalgia bait episode. They connected all the dots. But the foundation is that Alex would never do this. Alex, season 16, Alex Karev wouldn't do this. So they lost it. It was a good episode. It was one of the best episodes of season 16. But no, it wasn't. They made the story make sense. But there was one thing that doesn't make sense, is that Alex would never do it. He wouldn't. And they didn't even give him a season finale. It was in the middle of season 16. Like, the episode was a decent episode, but it had the fatal flaw was that Alex Karev wouldn't have done this. Izzy Stevens' name had not been mentioned in seasons, guys. Seasons, plural, many seasons. Many characters have been brought onto the show and died since Izzy's name has been mentioned. And somehow, I'm supposed to believe season 16, Alex Karev left Joe randomly after going through a very tough time with her and finally resolving it barely 6 episodes ago, would leave her for Izzy Stevens. You should have killed him. They should have killed him and left me the fuck alone. Because watching this episode was insulting. If you've never seen Grey's Anatomy before, or you haven't, like you don't care enough, this episode won't bother you. But if you've been watching Grey's Anatomy since season like whatever, if you've watched Grey's Anatomy period, this episode pissed you off. Don't watch it if you've seen it. You're going to get upset by watching it. You're going to get upset. I would encourage you, if you're going to watch season 16, to skip this episode. Because you're going to get upset by watching it. They're going to piss you off. Not even a season finale. Middle of a season. Bye, Alex. Go have fun with Izzy. Doesn't even make any sense. Last character. Wow, we've been here for a while. I don't know how long this video is. I'm really sorry if it's super long. Next and last character is Miss Meredith Grey. So me and Meredith have a complicated history. I don't like Meredith. I didn't like Meredith. Now I like Meredith. I have my issues with her, but I used to not like Meredith at all. And then Derek died and she became a whole person and I started to like her again. Not again, I started to like her, period. Because I thought Meredith was annoying. Whenever her and Christina fought, this is a me thing. Whenever her and Christina fought, she only had one dig at Christina, and it's the fact that surgery comes naturally to her and Christina has to work at it. But you're in the same program doing the same thing, so what does it matter now? That was her only dig at Christina, and I was like, what does it matter? You're both in the same residency program, and actually, we find out in season 16 that Rich Webber's the only reason that she's here. She didn't match this program organically. And when they had their major fight, and Christina was like, you slow down, and she wasn't wrong. It hurt because this is the thing. When Christina and Meredith were having that humongous fight, it was so foul. First of all, Christina stopping Meredith's liver print in the middle was foul play. I hate when people touch shit that is not theirs. I would have thrown something at her head. But this entire argument, it was a low, like Christina being like, Meredith, you slowed down, as a way to like win this argument was kind of a low blow, because clearly she knows that she's like somewhat insecure or like kind of mad about that. Like she knows that she wasn't wrong, but she shouldn't have said it. Christina was not wrong. Christina's not wrong ever usually, but she still shouldn't have said that. Like, she still shouldn't have said that. The whole fight was ridiculous. Like, of course, Christina spends more time doing surgery than you. She does more surgery than you. It's okay. Like, it doesn't make you, like, and also to Christina, okay, Christina, you spend more time doing surgery. of course you're gonna be better, like slightly more ahead of Meredith because she has kids. Like you're not any better than her because you don't have any kids. They were both like going for really low blows at each other, and I was like, wow. It was a disaster. And then they made up at the end, and Meredith said what Christina was saying the entire time, that she slowed down because she had kids. So she was just hurt. The entire time Meredith was just hurt at the fact that Christina noticed the fact that she slowed down. Girl, it ended up working out fine in the end. So it's fine. Her and Derek was always an issue with me. I don't like him at all. Meredith in the Zola situation made me really sad. This is one of the only times where I felt for her before Derek died, because Derek just railroaded her, and it went back to her mother. He brought up her mother's parenting style. He would just scream at her and belittle her and call her a bad mom. It was so rude. Essentially steal the baby, which, you know, Meredith is so reckless. She doesn't think about her life or others. Honestly, now Meredith is more reckless with her career rather than so her life, which is beneficial for like herself, but she used to be reckless with a lot more stuff. Her fucking with the clinical trial was a no, was a fat no. Meredith became a more interesting character after Derek died. It was like the Derek limb isn't there anymore, so I can get to know Meredith Grey rather than like Meredith and Derek, because I don't care about Meredith and Derek. I want to know more about Meredith. So now I think she's much more interesting, and I like her. Do I like Meredith Grey? No, but I like her more so that Derek isn't around. Now, the dinner party when they all met Penny, that was ridiculous. Amelia, Meredith really tried to hold it together, and for that I do commend her. She held it together a lot longer than most people would have, so I respect her for that. Amelia has never come to terms with Derek's death at all, so the reaction to her finding out who Penny was to be expected. Clearly Penny didn't do anything wrong, or she would have been fired or gotten her license taken away, but it's an emotional reaction, so no one really is to blame for this. They have no one else to blame for Derek's death, so they have to blame Penny. And now in season 16, wow, season 16, we meet the doctor who like actually like killed Derek, and he died. So I guess like Meredith found out who it was and was able to like direct it towards him. Yeah, he was on the panel. This is season 16 is kind of messy, girl. He was on the panel for like deciding if Meredith would get her license taken away. Like, no, season 16 is crazy. Now, so that's all the characters. Oh god, this video is probably really long. I apologize, but you're watching it anyway, so.
I'd like us to talk today. I would like us to talk because I care and I want to know things, and I have 15 minutes to hear about your feelings. So, Alex, you look thoughtful. I'm very interested to hear, what are your thoughts?
So now I want to talk about plot lines that I want to talk about. First, I'm starting with Chief Roulette because I really want to make this point clear. Richard Weber ran this hospital into the ground. He ran them into a merger that was a disaster. No team bonding, and they killed a girl who didn't deserve to die. Then Derek, greasy-haired motherfucker, tried to undermine Richard's authority every chance he got because he wanted the job. He operated on an inoperable spinal tumor just because he wanted his job. It was his genius that saved him from killing that person. And then Derek then got the job, right? And he was bad at it. Derek was so bad at being chief. Look at the material. The man is a poster child. He's not confident enough to hold any power. All the things that make Derek Shepherd a great neurosurgeon, you know, the God complex, narcissistic asshole thing, he can't run a hospital. Especially being so involved with every single doctor in the hospital. He can't run a hospital. He was too involved. Richard was too involved. Derek was too involved. The first day on the job, he couldn't even deliver a speech to the hospital. And he's supposed to be taking the hospital to the next level. Like, I'm sorry. So Derek is too involved. Richard is too involved. This is another reason why I believe Owen was one of the best chiefs they've ever had. Owen was not as involved as any of them. He saw the hospital from a much more objective standpoint, in my opinion. Now, he did make some mistakes. Owen let Christina operate on Henry without telling Teddy, and that was Sandra Oh was acting her ass jacks off in this scene. Yes, Miss Ma'am. He covered Henry's face and like let a resident operate on her mentor's husband without her knowing. And then he lied to her, and Christina had just gotten better. She had just healed from a shooting, barely at that. And you sent her into chaos because the hospital isn't well staffed. That was one of Owen's biggest faults. And Christina's the only person who owned up to telling her, and that wasn't even her job. Crazy how she was the only one who actually felt guilty and felt a duty to inform the family when she's supposed to be the cold one. Very, very interesting to me. Owen as a person is a terror. We've discussed this. Owen as a person is a bad person. Bad man. As a chief, he got the most things done. Got the most things done. So the plane crash, we've already discussed it. Any other person would have signed those letters. In fact, Owen is much, much, much better than me, because I would have handed Derek Shepherd an itemized list of 30 years of disagreements had he talked to me with that kind of fucking attitude. Derek Shepherd has a lot of nerve trying to come for Owen. I can't believe I'm defending Owen in public. He has a lot of nerve trying to come for Owen, saying it's your fault, when he has a list of potential malpractice suits going up to the high heavens. Did Derek Shepherd not just conclude a clinical trial killing patients left and right? Left and right, left and right, bad outcome, had one good outcome. Was that not you? Was that not you? Did he not leave Lexi and Meredith alone in a room with two residents to do brain surgery? Now Broca's area is damaged. Now this future lawyer can't speak. That's your job. Didn't he get so pissy that he went and hid in the woods and drank to death, and then was allowed to perform surgery just weeks later? Wasn't that him? So who is the danger to patients here? Derek? Owen is really better than me. He really is, because I would have brought this shit all up. I would have brought all this shit up. And I would have also brought up how Derek Shepherd was basically wetting his pants every single day he was chief, because he couldn't do anything because he was bad at that job. Simply put, he wanted it because he wanted more power and control over everybody in his life, but he was not good at it. And this led to the lawsuit. Will I literally ever know peace? Owen was trying his best, failing at it, but he did the best, with what he had. And Bailey would have done better, but she's the only chief who would have done better with this situation. And the lawsuit was a mess. They shouldn't have lied to him. That woman who comes in to fix the hospital, Eliza. No, not Eliza. The woman who was like there to like sell the hospital. What did she do but cause confusion? Nothing. Pegasus gonna buy that hospital would have been kind of a mess. None of the interns were really good at that time. This was when we were just going through like random sets of like interns before like Joe's class started. And while I'm here, Arizona was kind of right when she came for Derek's neck. Like, y'all just want to give all the money away, and Derek already had millions of dollars in the bank from his New York City private practice, and Arizona doesn't, and she has a whole kid. So it's not fair to assume that they all want to hand over their money to buy a hospital. Arizona was completely right in the situation. They all like freaked out at her because their man, Derek Shepherd, who half of them don't even like that much, their man, Derek Shepherd, says this is what we have to do. He couldn't even lead your hospital. Now you want to lead him. He's not a lawyer. Now you want him to have him lead you in a malpractice suit. You guys make no sense. And people always love to blame Owen. Again, I don't like that man. When all these dingbats came in and quit without telling him beforehand. That's sick. Like, you couldn't even warn him? Like, you couldn't have even been like, let him in on the secret a little bit. Been like, by the way, we're gonna try to buy the hospital. It's the way they were so confident too. Not one of them with financial expertise. Derek was chief basically for the length of play date. It wasn't even real. They thought they could do it by themselves. And then they're mad when they went, because the Avery Foundation helped them, when Catherine made Jackson boy king. Why are you shocked? Like, first of all, without them, y'all would be at home right now. So what are we about to do? That's one. Two, Jackson has experience on the board of the foundation. You guys don't know anything except for surgery. Have you ever been on a board before? Have any of you been on a board before? No. Jackson's the only person in there with experience. Oh no, this plane crash was more than just a plane crash, because there was a lot of deflected blame, a lot of misplaced anger for no reason. Jackson's a dick though. I'm not on his side. Again, I'm not on Jackson's side ever. I'm not on Owen's side ever, but Owen, y'all need to leave him alone for this. Anyone would have signed those papers. You don't think Derek would have signed those papers? Derek wouldn't even have read it. He would have been like someone else handled, because he was too busy wetting his pants, not being good at public speaking. Mark, remember when Mark was the chief for half a day? He would have signed it too. Left him to death though. They all would have signed it. Any one of them in the team would have signed those papers. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. All right, next plotline I want to talk about is just season 16 in general, because I know most of the people watching this right now haven't seen season 16, because the show has pretty much gone to hell. You might not have even seen the last like 2 seasons at all. So some of the characters you might not have known. You don't need to. Alright, so I know most of the people watching this most likely haven't seen Grey's Anatomy in a while, because I hadn't seen Grey's Anatomy in a while, honestly. So I'm gonna tell you what's been happening on this show, in case you have seen it. So people are dying left and right. Nobody's left on the show. Like, nobody. What has happened is the non-interesting characters that were like, they were main characters, but they had always been side characters and been involved in side plots. Now they are the main characters and they're not interesting. That's what this show has become. I have no interest in Link's life, Owen's life, frankly Amelia's life, and certainly not Teddy. Those people are not interesting to me, and they're all the main characters on the show now. They're not interesting to me. Like Lexi's a long time ago. Like Callie, Arizona, Christina, like those are interesting characters. Those are interesting. We don't have those anymore. Y'all brought in all these new people because all of those people left. Arizona and April living in the same season was the worst thing that could happen to this show. Oh my God. Especially after the travesty that was season 13. Season 13 is a terrible season of Grey's. Terrible, just terrible. 12 is a very good season. So you brought in all these new people to fix all the people that you lost in previous seasons and had them support the plot line so much that you never gave them a personality, and then all your remaining characters with personalities left. Like interns are leaving out the wazoo, residents leaving out the wazoo. Now we just have like Link and Tom Karasik. What am I supposed to do with this information? Like, I don't care. Now, so basically, let me explain to you what happened in season 15 and 16. So Meredith committed insurance fraud to give an undocumented girl insurance so like she could do her surgery, and then she got caught. So DeLuca covered for her and he went to prison for her. His personality trait is acting reckless with his career, which is very fitting considering Meredith's track record, which was encouraged by Richard Webber. I think Richard Webber frankly engaged in reckless endangerment in the first like 6 seasons because he let them do whatever the fuck they wanted. He's the reason why she felt comfortable enough doing that in the first place, but she's never been punished before. Meredith Grey's never been punished before seriously, like because Rich took the fall for the Alzheimer's trial. Like Bailey suspended her, she came right back. Like after like that was the first punishment. Bailey suspending her in season 13 was the first punishment she'd ever gotten, and like she needed that punishment. And but the thing is, she was already attending and she was already Meredith Grey, so like she knew she was gonna come back, so that really even still wasn't a consequence. Her like getting suspended in season 13, it still wasn't. So in this season, in this current season, season 16, and I'm assuming it's going to be the same way for season 17 because I don't know where the show is about to go. With the way season 16 just ended, I'm not sure where the show is going to go at all. Like there's no clear path. But in order for this season to have a good episode, they had to nostalgia bait the fuck out of the viewers. with old characters and old plot lines. Season 16 episode 8 is literally for like, it's made for original Grace watchers. They bring everyone back. Everyone that they don't bring back, they have them write a letter. They bring people back. They bring all of Meredith's old patients back. You see everyone from like seasons like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and shit. Like, it's like they just nostalgia bait. That was a good episode. So Meredith finally like owns up to the fact that she is the one who committed insurance fraud, so DeLuca gets out of jail, right? But now Meredith had to do community service. She went to court. They're like community service. Then she missed a day of community service, so she spend the rest of those hours in prison. So Meredith did go to jail for like a period of time, but she still has to do community service. And then the medical board wanted to take her license away, so they had to have like a trial, like a medical trial, and they had everyone come in and speak on her behalf and stuff. Bailey was being incredibly petty. Bailey didn't want to say anything nice about her because Meredith was acting reckless. Bailey had to fire Alex, Meredith, and Richard from her hospital because they were acting so reckless, and she had to have them have a consequence. Bailey was right to fire them. Guys, what else? If Bailey hadn't fired them, don't you think it would have turned out worse had they known that Bailey had just allowed her to keep working there after committing insurance fraud? She should, like, guys, like, come on. Like, she had to do what she had to do. Until Meredith, like, almost gets her license taken away at this, like, court thing. They do that. That's the nostalgia baiting episode, is the episode, and she meets the guy, the doctor who killed Derek, the actual doctor who, like, is the reason that Derek died, and then he ended up dying of, like, some heart attack thing. Very, very crazy. This season 16 is also the woke season. So throughout this show, especially since like season like 13, these writers do these soapbox moments. I think they want these scenes shown in like high school English or like history classes, like thought-provoking moments, but they come across very shallow and very cheap, and they read like a tweet from 2013. It's not working. That's what this entire show, whenever the show tries to be like socially conscious or woke, it just reads like a tweet from 2013. It's very surface level. There's no actual like discussion being had. So basically in this season, they all learn how the healthcare industry actually works, and it's like they're fighting against it. Meredith is fighting against it because she like committed insurance fraud for an undocumented little girl. And then Meredith learns that like that doesn't happen to just her, and Meredith learns what the healthcare system is like and how she has to fix it, right? So because Bailey fired Alex, Richard, and Meredith, Alex goes and works at this underfunded hospital that's like near, it's in the same city as Grace Sloan. So they bring in an underfunded hospital that's like exists in most major metropolitan cities, which could have a good, and they discuss how the hospital is underfunded, it is understaffed, they're like working with nothing, and then they abandon that entire plot line completely. Catherine bought the hospital as a joke, and now they don't even talk about it. Alex was supposed to take this underfunded hospital that sees a lot of patients every single day. He was supposed to fix it. He abandons the hospital to go live with Izzy, mind you. Richard then leaves that hospital and goes back to Grace Sloan because Catherine bought the hospital to spite him. They were having a marital spat, and she bought the hospital that he was working at to get away from her to spite him. So Richard left the hospital. Owen left the hospital. They just hired Maggie there to work there. She didn't even start. They left the hospital in ruins. He was supposed to be turning it around for the members of the community, but you abandoned it in your so-called woke season. They were bringing up the issues of the healthcare industry, and then they abandoned that entire plot line, the entire hospital. Like, the phone call is coming from inside the house. Y'all can't even have the conversations on your own show without doing the same thing. It's like... And now Meredith is doing like pro bono surgeries days, which are good, I guess, or something. They showed how hard it is to plan them and stuff. And basically, this season was about like learning about how the healthcare industry works and how people don't get good healthcare. Oh, that's total shock to me. It's total shock to me. Oh my god, like the call came from inside the house. Now I'm just gonna rank season finales. I'm just gonna say the ones that I like. I like season 9 finale. It was ridiculous. Everyone almost died. It's a really like, that was a really like a really like interesting season finale. Season 9 and season 12 are my favorites. I think season finales. Season 12 was a literal shit show. Like Amelia and Owen's wedding. They got married. I forgot that they got married because in no world, if either of them have friends that care, if Amelia had friends that liked her, because Meredith don't like that girl. Why did she marry him? Doesn't even make any sense. Also, the Luca and Alex and Joe happened in that finale, and April gave birth in that finale, and Ben did the C-section on Meredith's table in that finale. That's a good season finale. And peak Grey's, I'm so sorry for moving the camera. Peak Grey's, in my opinion, starts as soon as Owen Hunt shows up. I don't like it as much as you guys. I'm just as angry about it as you guys are. Peak Grey's starts when Owen Hunt shows up. Because the plot starts moving. It starts, she does a lot. The writers do a lot for like, they do a lot and they do it well for like 6 or 7 solid seasons. Season 12 is a phenomenal season, and then season 13 just shits on it. Skip season 13 in your rewatches, just shits on it. Season 13 is a complete dud. Skip it. Season 14 picked back up, but season 15 and 16 were just bad. I would say peak Grey's, I say peak Grey's, Owen Hunt came in season 6 through 12. That's my belief. It's my belief. Like, skip, please, if you're rewatching, skip season 13. You will literally, that's why this video took longer than it was supposed to, because that season was so boring. I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle it. That season was so boring. Oh my god, it was slow. It was like not traumatizing. It was just grueling to finish a season of a television show. That's not good. All right, lastly, I can't sit still. Lastly, we're gonna talk about where did it all go wrong with Grey's Anatomy. So I guess this is the everything wrong with part, even though I very much like, I'm gonna finish the show to the end because I want to see how they're gonna end it. I really am interested to know. So in season 8, too much happened. I think I'm speculating. I think they thought they were gonna end it by season 12 because so much shit happened in season 8, like so much shit happened that it makes me think that they didn't think it was gonna get to season 16, or they didn't want it to. So they've had, thus far, have had one series finale worthy moment, and that was Derek dying, which means they were running out of ideas. He was killed for shock value, and they were running out of ideas. That's why they killed him. So they need another major character. Honestly, like now, I think they need another major character to bring the interest back, because like I think Derek dying, even though I don't like him, moved the downfall of Grey's up. Does that make sense? It made the downfall come a lot faster by killing him off. Grey's could have gone on a lot longer if not for that shock value death, but here we are. It did. It moved it up like about 4 seasons, because it was clear that the idea mill was running a little bit dry. All right. Now, Derek dying did result in one of the best seasons in Grey's Anatomy history, season 12. So for that, I am grateful. It was an immaculate season. Wasn't anything wrong. But then seasons 13 and 14 were the nail in the coffin of the downfall of Grey's. How Arizona and April leave in the same season. You just lost like a gazillion plot lines. You lost a gazillion potential plot. You have Callie leave. And you have season 13, and you have April and Arizona leave. The shows, you lost so many interesting characters. So, because here's the thing, even if you don't like April or Arizona, I like April and Arizona. They added something to the show. They added something to the show. They made the show interesting. And now they're gone. Now they need a major death to bring people back. I think it should have been Alex. It should have been Alex instead of that massacre on my heart episode. I think I would have been hurt less had they killed him off. I think I would have, because now I'm just wondering what could have been, and that makes me even more angry than if they just killed him. Now, I think to end it, they need someone well-loved, honestly, to like, I want Owen 6 feet under, but I don't think that'll happen, so like, I'll throw a party if that happens. I'll be very happy, but I feel like something might happen to a different character. I thought originally when watching this, I was like, I feel like something's gonna happen to Richard. But the end of season 16, Richard gets like cobalt poisoning in his hip because of a hip replacement, and he starts going a little bit. They think he has Alzheimer's, but it's cobalt poisoning. So I thought they were gonna do something to Richard and like have something really bad happen to him to bring people back. But I don't know if they would kill him off after just giving him cobalt poisoning. I mean, we never know. We never know what's going on in the land of Grey's Anatomy. But like, I don't know if they would. But they need another one. They need something jarring to like. If they don't want to end the show in like the next season, if they want it, because the streets are saying that some people have contracts booked for until season 17 or 19. Girl. Like, it's time to end it, but I'm wondering how they're going to do it. I thought they would do something to Richard and then that would be the end of it, but they just gave him cobalt poisoning and there seems to be another season. So I don't know if they would kill him right after giving him cobalt poisoning. That'd be a 1-2 punch, but like, you never know. Like, where do you see this show going is my question to the writers, because you wrote out Alex in the most ridiculous way. You've gotten rid of many an intern and many a resident this entire time that could have had plot lines to themselves, but they kept disappearing. You gave Richard Weber crazy cobalt metal poisoning like he's a transformer. He still don't like Catherine. He woke up after having surgery for cobalt poisoning being like, fuck you, Catherine. And now we have Owen and Teddy deaf about to break up. So like, we need to cut the cord. Like, where are we going? Because they brought in this new guy is he Irish or is he Australian? I probably look like an idiot. I don't know his name. I should have learned his name. Whatever. No, I think he's Irish. They brought him in for Meredith, so clearly something might be happening there. I do not care to see it though. I don't. It's too late. It's too late. You had one series finale moment and you wasted it. You squandered it. You wanted to continue the show. So now it's time to, because I'm like, what are they gonna do? People are like, they're gonna give Meredith Alzheimer's. Do you guys actually think they're gonna give Meredith Alzheimer's? Because I feel like that is so predictable. Would they? But like, it's so predictable that it would still be a shock if they did it, because it's so predictable. Having Meredith just get Alzheimer's at the end. I honestly, before watching this scene, I'm like, they're gonna kill off Richard and they're gonna end the show. But they just gave him cobalt poisoning. So now that my idea is just done. Like, but it's becoming, they're gonna drag it on because they just brought in the plot. They just brought in like Link's background and Tom Karasic's background, and we just learned more of Teddy's background. So I'm like, now we have to watch this show with characters who are not interesting. Who are not interesting anymore. They don't give what they're supposed to. Alex isn't even here anymore. It's just Meredith left out of the originals, who I liked the least. So like, what are we about to do here? Because something needs to change, effective, rapidly. Oh, poor Grey's Anatomy. How sad. So yeah, wow. That was the end of my video. That was everything wrong with, it's a video title, it's not that serious, with Grey's Anatomy. I hope you guys enjoyed. I really enjoy Grey's Anatomy. I think it is such a cute, fun little show. Little traumatizing to watch, little emotional for, you know, everyone. It's a great show. My favorite characters are Christina Yang, April Kepner, Arizona Robbins, Stephanie Edwards, and Lexi Gray and Addison Montgomery. Those are the best characters on the show. Argue with your mother. Those are my favorite characters. I think you could tell which ones are my most disliked characters, pretty much just like all of the rest of them. I'm very indifferent for a lot of people on this list, but those I think are my absolute favorites. I really dislike Owen. Ooh, I really dislike Owen. I dislike Callie now, obviously, but I would not put her in the same category as like an Owen Hunt, a Preston Burke. Like, I'm not putting her in there. I just don't have any respect for her. But I did really like her at some point. I just have no more respect for her. But respect to me is more important than me liking you or not. So like, that's something different. Those are my thoughts on Grey's Anatomy. Great show. Gorgeous gowns. End it. Quickly. It's time. You've been nursing it for a really, really, really long time now. It's really time to, we gotta move on. We gotta move on. Sorry. So yeah, that's in my video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. You got through it. I don't know how long it was. I have no idea how long that was. I just kind of talk and I kind of black out when I'm making these. Time stands still. So I have no idea how long that was, and I'm making it longer by continuing to talk. So I hope you guys enjoyed my video. If you would like to follow my social media, here's my Twitter and my Instagram. Go have fun and enjoy yourself on there. While you're here, you can check out some of my recent videos that should be on your screen now, or you can watch any of my other Everything Wrong lists. They should also be on your screen somewhere as well. And yeah, that's it. Let me know your thoughts. You're already typing. I'm so interested to see people's comments on these, because Grey's Anatomy is we can have a lot of discussions about Grey's Anatomy. A lot of discussions can be had about this show. Wow, I'm excited to see these comments. So yeah, thank you guys so very much for watching. Hope you're staying healthy and safe inside your houses. If you're in school, push through. We're like almost done, like I don't know. We're almost there, guys. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye bye.